Right now we are here at the accident spot, which has happened right in the middle of the ring road, and this is exactly the metro pillar has completely collapsed, and you can see the structure of the pillar from the basement as well. The supporting structure has given way, and therefore this entire structure has collapsed onto the road, and therefore innocent lives have been claimed. And now it is being learned that despite the best possible efforts by the hospital, they have passed away.
Hello, welcome. You're watching This is Exclusive with me, Shavinson, a host of exclusives lined up on this edition. The first batch of Agniveer trading happening in Hyderabad. We'll get you the report of this edition, but up first, these are the headlines we're tracking for you at this hour. Chartered flight from Moscow diverted to Jamnagar after a bomb threat. We tell you if it was a hoax call or an alarm. Training of first batch of 2,260 Agniveer commences in Artillery Centre in Hyderabad. Republic gets you an exclusive report. Viewers, Joshimath is sinking. Expert teams have reached to the spot, and MOS Defence Ajay Bhatt takes stock of the situation. Civic apathy brushes two to death in Bengaluru as an under-construction metro pillar falls on the family of four.
Will you resign, sir? This is something which is being echoed now.
If you feel that my resignation is going to bring back that life, definitely I would like to resign.
People are questioning.
But when asked to take accountability, BMRCL gives out the most brazen response.
उनको कम से कम उनकी ट्रेजेडी दुनिया तक पहुंची और एक इतने बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म पे उनके बारे में बात होगी, तो हम उनके जख्मों को तो हम भर नहीं सकते, लेकिन एटलीस्ट उनको गले लगा सकते हैं.
Kashmir Files shortlisted for Oscars along with multiple other Indian films. Yet another incident where flyers in India have now been cheated. This time it happens on a Go First flight where several passengers were left behind and the flight took off. It seems that Go First Airways has now finally apologized. In fact, they've also put out a statement that we're putting out right now. In fact, this is what they say is the first statement that has been issued by the airline where they've apologized to the flyers. In fact, they've also offered a free ticket for travel on any domestic sector in the next 12 months to cheated flyers. In fact, this comes in after once again Republic TV taking up the cause of flyers. So several of the passengers had taken to the social media essentially complaining about the fact that some were on the bus when the flight actually took off. It turns out that the passengers who were on the first bus were actually taken. Rest of them were left behind. This after the check-in process was also done. We'll try and go across to my colleague Harsha joining us on this broadcast. Harsha, just take us through the details that you're picking up. Has the DGCA also taken cognizance of this entire matter? Because we've seen several of the passengers essentially complaining that the entire check-in process was completed, but despite that, the airline decided to fly without taking the passengers. We'll try and go across to Harsha once again in a short while from now, but this is the first statement that has been issued by Go First Airways. They were forced to apologize after the passengers took to social media. Let me bring in my colleague Harsha, who's joining us on this broadcast from the National Capital, tracking the aviation sector. Harsha, just walk us through the details that you're picking up. This appears to be A statement coming in only after pressure that was mounted by the passengers.
Exactly, Shravan, we have got to know that there were several passengers who have tweeted on social media and on different platforms telling about the negligence of the airlines Go First, because the security checkings were completed. They have passed the security gates. They were in the shuttle bus going towards the aircraft when they got to know that the aircraft has left. Leaving them at the tarmac, the aircraft has left, and not knowing that there was almost 54 passengers who were in the shuttle bus who were going to board their bus. Now this entire incident has come into the notice of the DGCA. DGCA has issued a statement where it clearly says that they have issued a show cause notice to the Go First Airlines, and they have to respond and make a detailed report and submit to the regulator in the span of 2 weeks. Not only this, Shravan, we are also getting to know that Go First has also issued a notice, issued a statement where it clearly states that the staff and the crew members of the Go First Airlines have been de-rostered. That means they have been taken off from their roster. Their airlines and their shifts will not be any more taken into the airlines till the investigation is going on. And also they have offered, saying that the passengers who were cheated, to them in this span of 12 months, any one air ticket will be given free in any domestic sector if they want to fly. So now they are trying to compensate to all the passengers in context of this. They said that they were sorry, they apologized, and the investigation is going on. But Shravan, we are literally seeing every day such goof-ups coming up from the airlines in the midway, and this incident was very shocking because everything was complete and the passengers were left at the tarmac, leaving them in the shuttle bus when the aircraft left for its destination, and after 4 hours they were compensated in the another flight to their respective destination. Shravan, back to you.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Harsha, for getting us the latest details. In fact, is this really enough? Given the fact that this is not the first time that such an incident has actually taken place, leaving the passengers in a lurch. Well, shifting focus now to the other story that we are getting in right now with regards to the Jamnagar bomb threat. Shifting focus there. We'll also try and get in our reporters on the ground. What's really happened when a chartered flight from Moscow took away, and thereafter it had to do an emergency landing. In fact, let's take you through some of the details that we have. So the flight basically takes off from Moscow. It was basically en route. Now that's the flight path that you see. Was supposed to land in Goa, but mysteriously takes a diversion and lands in Jamnagar. We're talking about an incident that took place roughly around a little after 10:30 on Monday night. There was an immediate reaction then coming in, because the information that we have was that while the flight was on its way to en route to Goa, that's when a bomb scare takes place. The ATC basically informs the pilot, and the diversion then takes place. It takes off from Moscow, the Azure air bomb threat, and it finally reaches Jamnagar. So what really happens in Jamnagar? The NSG is deployed. You also have the Ministry of Home Affairs taking cognizance of the matter, and thereafter even the armed forces were basically deployed. The bomb disposal squad was also at the spot. Finally, as we speak, also we'll try and put out the latest visuals of this very aircraft landing in Goa. In fact, a confirmation also came in from the Russian embassy with regards to this particular aircraft finally making a landing in Goa. Now, with the information that we have, the bigger question is that was there a larger cause of concern, given the fact that you have roughly over 200 passengers inside this particular aircraft. There is a bomb threat that takes place. The flight finally makes a diversion. And what you see right now, these are the latest images now coming in from the Goa airport of the flight there. And thereafter, several of the agencies were also basically roped in to look into the matter. Now, where did the call really come from? That's another question. And whether at all there was more to it than what meets the eye right now. Let me go across to our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who's been tracking this story very closely. He's been joining us from the newsroom right now, from the Bharat newsroom. We'll try and go across to Abhishek for the latest details. Abhishek, just put this into perspective. You have a flight with over 200 passengers taking off from Moscow, makes a diversion, lands in Jamnagar, and we see almost all central agencies basically being roped in. The NSG was also there. We also have the bomb disposal squad present there. What we understand is that there was a hoax call that was actually made. Do we have any details of where the call actually came in from, and what is it that the investigation has revealed so far?
Well, Shawan, so unfortunately, since the hoax call came to the airliner company, Azure Air in Moscow, the agencies are not very clear what was the origin of the hoax or the mail. But then what the company did was they forwarded the exact mail to the Goa airport, and then from there on it was escalated to all the security agencies concerned. And given the nature of relationship between India and Russia, it was taken in all seriousness. In fact, remember, 10 p.m. is the time when the aircraft landed at Jamnagar, or was asked to land at the Jamnagar Air Base, which essentially is a military air base with the Indian Air Force and just a couple of civilian flights. But subsequently, we saw 3 layers of checks being put in place by the local police with its bomb disposal squad, and then you had the Gujarat anti-terror squad getting in and doing their own checks. And then late past midnight, around 12:30 a.m., an NSG team was flown down to Jamnagar, and they carried out their own checks. Subsequent to that only, all clear was given. And again in the morning, a sweep was carried out by the Jamnagar police, and then the aircraft flew out of Jamnagar for its rest of the onward journey to Goa, which is just about an hour plus from Jamnagar at around 1 p.m. in the day. Now, it has turned out to be a hoax. That's what the authorities tell us, so far as the mail carried this information that the aircraft had been mined and that it would blow up in the air. Nothing like that happened, obviously, because there was no bomb. So from a prank to someone really playing up the minds of the Russians, or maybe something with the airline company itself, because remember, it was a private airline and this was a charter flight, or possibly something with the passengers. But because no questioning was done of the passengers or the crew, they were just kept at the Jamnagar Air Base in a lounge overnight. Essentially because Jamnagar does not have an international airport, so they could not be taken out of the airport and they had to be kept there. All due hospitality was extended, but as of now, it was a hoax call, unless the Russians come out with something.
Well, thank you very much, Abhishek, for getting us the latest details. There is much more than what meets the eye, something that we'll keep a close watch on, because we still do not have any clarity where exactly was the call made from and whether at all the Russians would be making any further disclosure. Shifting focus now to a special story that we are getting to you tonight. This new year has seen the advent of the training of the Agniveers at the Artillery Centre, Hyderabad, who were recruited through the Agnipath scheme launched by the Government of India. Now, the training of the first batch of 2,260 Agniveers who have reported from across the country has commenced from 2nd of January at the Artillery Centre in Hyderabad. In fact, Republic is the first and only channel to get you the report on how actually this training is taking place. What does this essentially mean, given the fact that this is not the only place where the training is taking place? We are given to understand across the country the training has already started. But let's get you a sneak peek into how exactly is the training taking place. My colleague Aneri gets you this exclusive report.
The first batch of Agniveers under the Regiment of Artillery are realizing the dream of joining the Indian Army. The 31-week-long training took place on a lush green campus spread across 1,900 acres in and around the historic Golconda Fort in Hyderabad. Away from their hometowns and with a passion to serve their country, 2,265 Agniveers joined the Artillery Centre, Hyderabad in the last week of December.
Agniveer scheme, which was launched in 2022. Well, now we see the first batch of Agniveer training, which has now begun from the 2nd of January 2023, and as we are right now reporting from the artillery center here in Hyderabad, as you can see the Agniveer training which is being given to all these Agniveers who have been recruited from the 25th of December 2022 to 31st of December. As you can see, all these Agniveers who have been now undergoing training at this artillery center here in Hyderabad, right now they are doing is the physical training. This is the very physical ground where they will be undergoing training for near about 31 weeks. All of the complete training of the Agniveers will be completed.
Agniveers at this centre are currently undergoing the first leg of the training, which aims to introduce them to basic military operations.
क्योंकि हमें आर्मी में जाना ही हमारा ड्रीम था। अब अग्निवीर योजना हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा कि हम जैसे और भी यंग को मौका मिलेगा, बढ़िया है, युवा को मौका मिलेगा। पहले भी आर्मी वैसी थी, अब भी वैसी है, बस अग्निवीर है, बढ़िया है, 4 साल की हो या 15 साल की, जाना आर्मी में ही है।
मुझे अग्निवीर स्कीम बहुत अच्छी लगी। ये अग्निवीर का फर्स्ट बैच था, इसलिए मैं आना यहाँ अच्छा समझा, और हमें देखकर जो नए जवान हैं, नव युवा हैं, वो यहाँ आकर अपने आप को ये सोचेंगे कि ये बहुत अच्छी स्कीम है, और यहाँ हमें देख के वो प्रेरित होंगे यहाँ आने के लिए।
Their course structure includes lessons ranging from the Constitution, basic cyber security, rifle firing, understanding military communications and others. With this, all are taught using automation technology and specially curated stimulation rooms.
अग्निवीर का जो ट्रेनिंग करिकुलम है बहुत ही स्ट्रक्चर्ड और बहुत ही साइंटिफिक ट्रेनिंग करिकुलम है, जिसमें इनिशियल 10 हफ्ते में इनको बेसिक मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग के थ्रू अंडरगो किया जाएगा। सो आपके सामने जो अभी अग्निवीर का फर्स्ट कोर्स हमारे पास है वो बेसिक मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग कर रहा है। बेसिक मिलिट्री ट्रेनिंग में अग्निवीरों को फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग यानी कि उनकी शारीरिक क्षमता बढ़ाने की ट्रेनिंग, वेपन ट्रेनिंग, हथियार के ऊपर ट्रेनिंग। सो आपके सामने अभी जो अग्निवीर हैं वो इंसास वेपन सिस्टम के ऊपर ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं। इन एडिशन ड्रिल, किस तरीके से उनको अपना यूनिफॉर्म पहनना है, किस तरीके से वॉक करना है, किस तरीके से सैल्यूट करना है, किस तरीके से वेपन के साथ मूव करना है, वो ट्रेनिंग दिया जाएगा। इन एडिशन इनका बेसिक फाउंडेशन कोर्स, जिसमें कि इनको बाकी चीज़ों के बारे में, हमारी कंट्री के बारे में, संविधान के बारे में और चीज़ों के बारे में थोड़ा नॉलेज दिया जाएगा।
Brigadier Rajiv Chauhan, Commandant Artillery Center, Hyderabad, says the main aim is to empower the youth.
All these Agniveers, like this first batch, which consists of, as I told you, 2,265 Agniveers who are there with us in the center, all of them, after successful completion of their training, will be posted to the various artillery units all across the country. So they will go there, they will join their units, they will serve those units for 3.5 years. And thereafter, as I told you, there is an assessment process. They are going to be assessed right from here at the center and also later in the unit.
Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, viewers, Joshimath, that's the gateway to Badrinath and Hemkund Sahib, is sinking. A lot has happened in the last few days. In fact, the Prime Minister's office has intervened. Experts have also been rushed to the spot. And in fact, today, the Minister of State for Defence, Ajay Bhatt, also reached Joshimath. Now, why exactly Joshimath is so very vulnerable? What are the possible reasons? We've spoken to multiple experts to get you a sense of what could be the reason. One, Joshimath is largely built on landslide debris. That is one of the reasons why, if you take a look at it, the soil is loose. Second, it is located in the high seismic zone. Let's take a quick look at the other possible reasons. The land has a low bearing capacity, highly vulnerable to tectonic activity. The other important reason is unplanned construction in the area. In fact, we've also been getting you multiple reports to show how there has been an increased activity. The hydroelectric power plants are also another reason. Expansion of the national highway construction is still underway. In fact, we've also got a latest report coming in from there. And of course, soil erosion due to running streams. Now, all that put together, use of heavy machinery for construction, drainage system not really well maintained. Now, these are the reasons why you're really looking at the situation becoming far more vulnerable. In fact, as we speak right now, there's an evacuation drive that is basically underway. Our reporter on the ground, Anuj, is getting you the latest reports. The NDRF, SDRF teams are all there. Anuj, what's really happening on the ground?
Well, let me give you the sense and the visual from the ground.
The people, they are not ready to work in the field. They are not happy with this demolition drive. This is going to happen since in the morning. We have seen the condition, what exactly is being happening.
The condition, what exactly is being happening on the ground, where the administration is trying to talk to the people, but now they are saying that yes, they are not going to let it happen, and they will be standing here and protesting. As we are seeing at this point in time, this is Jindabad and Murdabad which is going on. क्या कह रहे हैं आप लोग, क्या दिमाग में?
हमारा प्रशासन से एक समझौता हुआ था कि सुबह 9 बजे से पहले कोई प्रकार और इस तरह के गुंडागर्दी करके अचानक से घुसना बिल्कुल सरकार की गलत नीयत को दिखाता है। जब तक हमारा मुआवजा तय नहीं होता है और लिखित में कोई आश्वासन नहीं मिलता है, ये हुआ था कि कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होगी और अब अचानक से रात को चोरों की तरह एकदम से कार्रवाई करना।
They are protesting against the demolition drive. I'll continue with the visual. Let me give you the sense what is happening, and there I'll ask my video journalist to give you the visual from this particular site also, where this particular hotel is. One of the family is there. One of the family is there already, and they are sitting there. And police officers standing in the queue. The forces could be clearly seen. They are not allowing anybody to go ahead. But as this point in time, you can clearly see what is happening. We are reporting from the ground, and the people are in anger. They are not ready to move. माता जी क्या कह रहे हैं, बताइए क्या आपका नाराजगी है?
मांग पूरा चाहिए बल तब
जी
ये पूरा करो।
क्या मांगे?
ये हमारा जितना पड़ते हैं वो दे दो, हमें जमीन दे दो, उसके बाद आप डोजर लगाए कुछ भी लगाए, पहले हमारे मांगे पूरा होने चाहिए। हमको मकान चाहिए, रहने की जगह चाहिए, हमारी मकान नहीं है, मकान चाहिए हमको। सर से यही निवेदन है सरकार से। अल्लाह बोल हम सरकार से यही मांगते हैं, हमें जमीन चाहिए, छत के बदल छत चाहिए, बाकी हमको 2 किलो राशन नहीं चाहिए, कम्बल नहीं चाहिए। हम सरकार से यही वो करते हैं, हमको ये दिया जाए, हम हट जाएंगे। हम लागू कर दो, हम बद्रीनाथ का जो मिलता है वो हमको दे दे, हम हट जाएंगे।
यहाँ बातचीत आपकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लोगों से, अधिकारियों से हुई है, तो क्या कह रहे हैं?
हमारे पास कोई नहीं आए, हमको खाली नंगे फेंक दे आगे। 4-5 दिन से बात हो रही, हमको बाहर जाओ नहीं बोला, कुछ नहीं बोल, चिन्ह लगा दिया, चलो 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 निकलो, हमको कुछ नहीं ले जाने दिए, कुछ नहीं लेने दिया।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, देखिए तस्वीरों में लगातार यहाँ हम दिखा रहे हैं, we are showing in the pictures what exactly the situation on the ground is. The people are protesting, they are on the roads now, they are on the streets now. Since from the morning, this is the try by the administration over here, so that they can move ahead for this demolition to demolish this particular site. Let me remind you that these are the 2 hotels. These are the 2 hotels, the Mountain View and the Malari Inn, which is affected, and it could be clearly seen. It could be clearly seen what at this point in time is happening. So people are in anger. We are showing to our viewers that what exactly is the condition on the ground in Joshimath is. Continuously, we are showing that how the cracks are increasing. Finally, this has decided by the administration that they are going to demolish first these 2 property. I'll ask my video journalist to give you sense from these 2 property also. These are the 2 hotels. One is Mulberry Inn. Second one is the Mountain View. So these are the 2 hotels. You can see how they have been twisted. So that is why it has been asked, it has been decided. They need to be demolished. That's the decision of the administration which has been taken. Then I'll continue with the visuals. I'll ask my video journalist to continuously give you the sense. Continuously give you the sense from the ground that what is happening. So we are continuously reporting from the ground. This is anger among the people of Joshimath. We are continuously reporting. We'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned.
Thousands of nurses have gone on strike at 2 of New York City's major hospitals. The walkout began on Monday after contract negotiations stalled over staffing and salaries nearly 3 years into the coronavirus pandemic. Nearly 3,500 nurses at Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx and about 3,600 at Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan have gone on strike.
So the nurses at Mount Sinai have basically come together to say that we're tired of being exploited, we're tired of our patients being abused, and most of all, we're tired of seeing them not get the care they deserve. We came into nursing to take care of people because we care about them. We come for compassion. And it's very difficult to come into the hospital every single day and know that we're not able to give them the care that they truly deserve. These hospitals have shown that all they care about is profits, but we are no longer treating patients like transactional items. They are people and they deserve respect, and that's why we're out here striking. It's not about money, it's actually about saving lives.
The privately owned hospitals have postponed non-emergency surgeries, diverted ambulance to other medical centers, and assigned administrators with nursing backgrounds to work in wards in order to cope with the walkout.
We're working hard. We worked through the pandemic and we have short staffing. They brought in traveler nurses. It doesn't fill the gap. We still have a bunch of vacancies and we're overworked. So we really need, and it's hard on the patients because we need safe staffing for them. So we're fighting for staffing, reimbursements, our health benefits. They're trying to take away some of their benefits, but we need safe staffing. We're tired. We're doing a great job. We're trying to get through a triple pandemic now. It doesn't stop.
Agency report for Republic TV.
The headlines from across the globe this morning. California on high alert as it braces for more turbulent weather. Thunderstorms, snow and damaging winds sweep through. Thousands of nurses staged protests at two of New York City's major hospitals over stalled contract negotiations. United Kingdom's first satellite mission takes off from Cornwall, marking first orbital space launch. And another mission seen flying around the Kherson region. Speaking about the latest from the Ukraine war, North America. Ukrainian helicopters participate in combat missions seen flying around the Kherson region. And North America summit kickstarts in Mexico. Biden and Trudeau arrive for ceremony. Arsenal defeats Oxford 3-0 to set up Man City showdown in FA Cup 4th round. Statements of two crew members of the Air India flight on which a man allegedly urinated on an elderly woman co-passenger to be recorded today. The two crew members were to join the probe yesterday but could not as they were outside Delhi. An incoming chartered flight from Moscow to Goa diverted to Gujarat's Jamnagar after Goa air traffic controller received a bomb threat. Second round of luggage checking went on earlier and nothing suspicious has been found yet. Authorities will be letting the flight leave for Goa by 10 a.m. Assam government holding yet another massive eviction drive in Lakhimpur in Assam. This time the eviction drive is being held at Pabho Reserve Forest in Lakhimpur, which has been under encroachment since long. Massive fire reported from Raja Utsav Community Hall in Patna. Several fire tenders along with police officials are at the spot to deal with the situation. "600 homes in the sinking town of Joshimath in Uttarakhand evacuated after a survey via satellites. Meanwhile, the matter is to be mentioned before the Chief Justice in the Supreme Court today. A team has been set up by the centre and will be going to Joshimath to survey the area. In the Shraddha Walkar murder case, accused Aftab Poonawalla to be produced in Saket Court.
Civic apathy crushes 2 to death in Bangalore as an under-construction metro pillar falls on a family of 4.
Thanks, sir. This is something which is being echoed now.
If you
Will you
feel
take moral responsibility, sir?
if you feel that my resignation is going to bring back that life, definitely I would like to
people
resign.
are questioning.
When he's asked to take accountability, the head of the BMRCL gives out that brazen response. Eyewitnesses say they had warned the authorities, then were they waiting for this tragedy to happen? In more news, Go First is forced to apologize to flyers after the flight leaves more than 50 passengers behind in Bangalore.
उनको कम से कम उनकी ट्रेजेडी दुनिया तक पहुंची और एक इतने बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म पे उनके बारे में बात होगी तो हम उनके जख्मों को तो हम भर नहीं सकते लेकिन एटलीस्ट उनको गले लगा सकते हैं.
It's a setback to the lobby. Kashmir Files is on the shortlist of Oscars along with multiple Indian films. We've cut across to these live images that you're seeing on your screens coming in from Joshimath in Uttarakhand. We remember the demolition of certain hotels has to take place and also certain houses that have been marked completely unsafe. But the locals there are protesting. They are obviously worried about what happens vis-a-vis from here on, their future. And I think we'll also have our colleague Anuj, who's been there reporting from Joshimath for the last many days. He's joining us live right now. Anuj, why don't you take it away and help us listen in to what the locals have to say, what really are their concerns?
Exactly, Deepti, and since from the morning we are seeing that this exactly is the place, this exactly is the property where the demolition has to take place. But the administration is trying to control the situation as what exactly is going to be the